The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, the management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The shows found on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network can, but do not necessarily, promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition or give any medical or legal advice.
If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com, and thank you. Do you have a paranormal story you want to share on Night Dreams Talk Radio? You could be a guest. Email us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
Your Saturday paranormal psychic and ghost hunter on Night Dreams Talk Radio Network, James Creachbaum.
Hello, everyone, and coming to you live from my studio at my compound in Dover, Ohio. Yes, I am James Creachbaum and your Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark Saturday host. And without further ado, let's get this paranormal party started. My guest tonight is Dave Emmons. Dave, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, James. Yes, I've been on your show, the network here, a couple of different times, and it seems like I try to unload a lot of stuff. I've had a lot of things happen, especially with UFO experiences. So I'm an experiencer, very, very much so, in all the little things behind it. My background, I've been in the military, U.S. Army. I've been in combat, and also I've ran my own businesses, and I went to college for journalism, and so that's why I can investigate myself, and I try to be, I guess, really true to the journalism thing to really figure out what really happened to me. So, but yeah, I've worked with the Red Cross. I've done a lot of different things in my lifetime. Played music 45 years, and I don't know if that's one of the things that draws ETs, music and musicians. Usually, could be one of the things that they look at too. We don't ever know that, but no, that's a little bit of my background, and I'm glad to be on air with you and Gary, and on this program.
Well, let me ask you a question, Dave. I heard recently Mary Joyce. She kind of mentioned that there's kind of two kinds of there's abductees and contactees. Which one of those two would you say you are, an abductee or a contactee?
I talked about that in a web page in which we discussed today, and I'm not sure if I want to, say the web page because it's a closed group, and you'll probably get in it too, and Gary knows it. But I'm going to leave that up to the moderators to do all that. But I mentioned that today. They asked me why did I have a certain agency, or they got all these alphabet letters in these agencies and various ones. You don't know which one is which really. And the one was mentioned in there. Some fellow mentioned it to me about being my. He said my history file and my Internet Explorer was tampered with, and that's why I got this little icon. It's got an eyeball of an alien, and peering through, which seems to be from the moon or something. But it got on my computer after I ran into a couple of strange guys. Now, making this story long and going into it, but I told these people, I said, contactees are usually followed, and their computers are tampered with because they want to see what you're talking about to these people, or whatever they might be, interdimensional, ETs, or hybrids. They pretty much know, I think, that they're here. They know a lot of their operations. I believe I was tapped by one of those agencies, and it's being quite clear to me that that might have happened 2010, 2011. After I had a hybrid, she contacted me because she said we were supposed to meet. And so she was contacting me. But after I spent an evening with her and the next day through the afternoon with her, she was strange. It wasn't any romantic ties there. It was more like a father-daughter thing. She was about maybe in her 30s, maybe late 20s, 30s. But I feel that they don't really follow you until you make contact with some ET or some entity. That's my opinion.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Dave. Do you feel you got an implant also, or what's your opinion on that?
Yes, I've had two, James, in my time. When I was 14, when I saw my first flying saucer, we'll call it. It looked like one of those little tops. It was a toy. It looked like a toy top. It was kind of fat, and it smelled like sulfur. But I found out later that was ozone that was coming off the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
It had windows around it, and my buddy and I saw it, and we talked about that just 2 weeks ago. We spoke about that incident, and we still can't figure out our lost time. I figured out a couple of things. I had a regressed dream I was trying on a shirt on a metal table, which was too small for me. I was a little bit bigger than my friend, my buddy. Like he's still my best pal nowadays. And so I had that quick dream, but I also, about a month later, it might have been closer than that, I found something in my left testicle area in which it was kind of lumpy, and I looked at it, and there was a little hole cut. It was a red little hole that was still red, like it never healed or whatever. And I pushed that little disc out. It was a round disc. It looked like a little M&M, one of those miniature M&Ms, and it looked like that, and it was kind of ashy color, a white. And after about an hour or two, it started turning brown. And I showed it to my mom, and she said, "Throw that old thing away." She said, "That's just probably a blackhead or whatever." I said, "No, it's not, Mom." I said, "There was a hole there for it, and I was able to get it out. Whoever put it there left the hole there, and I got it out." So that was the first implant I had. The second implant I had was back in 2011, and it was in my leg. And again, it was a little red round hole, and it itched, and I scratched it a lot. A little blood came out of it, and I took a tissue and dabbed it. And when I did, I pulled out a little chunk. It was about, I'd say it's about it's about 3/8 of an inch long and about 1/4 of an inch or so wide. And I pulled it out, and it was a charcoal looking, and I've seen them. I've been researching them, and I've seen them in other where they've taken the implants out. I can't remember the doctor's name, but he did a lot of that, the taking out of the implants.
Dr. Lear. Dr. Lear.
Dr. Lear, that's right.
Yeah.
I keep thinking it's the Lear jet guy.
Yeah.
I guess it stumbles me. But no, I took that, and I still got pictures of it. I took pictures of it with my little camera. And I took it through a microscope. It was a small microscope, but I was able to get some decent pictures of it, and I put it in a little bag. And so I made a presentation to a small UFO group up in Springfield, and they saw it. And there was a lady there who was a research scientist as a career, and she was in biology, and she saw it. She said, "I've never seen anything like it in my life." She said, "That's ugly looking. It looked like it had brain neurons like coming off of it."
Wow.
Which was weird. Yeah, those are the two that I know of.
Right. Let me ask you this, Dave. How many times do you think you've been abducted?
That I can't count. I talked to Dr. David Jacobs at a convention one time, and I told him how when I knew I was abducted, there's a lot of static shock that was beside my bed. And I started rolling over to see what all the noise was, and it hit me in the shoulder, and it paralyzed me. It was about 1:30 in the afternoon. I had my hand up against the headboard. I wasn't asleep. I just wanted to rest my back and stretch my back. And I was hit several times with that electric shock, and I knew for sure that was an abduction. My sister's voice she died 4 or 5 years previous to that abduction. I heard her voice in the hallway calling for me. And so I think what they do is they manipulate your brain.
Oh.
They can upload, yes, they can upload voices and your memory. So that was one time I know for sure. Then there was a second time I pushed it away. I thought I pushed it away. Dr. Jacobs says, no, they were done with you. I said that's a typical thing. A lot of people think they pushed it away and they told it to leave you. No, he said they were done with you. And I said, oh, wow.
Now, let me ask you this, Dave. Whenever these occur, do you have the presence of mind that, like maybe you could scratch them, get some DNA under your skin, or are you just totally immobilized?
Well, I was totally immobilized during those times. There was about 3 times that I was shocked by the static, and I was totally immobilized. But I felt the end of one of them, but 2 of them I was totally immobilized. Those 3 that I know for sure. The other times, there was a little green guy. He was a little green-gray, uglier than the ones that they put in pictures and in magazines. This guy was all wrinkled up. He didn't have the black lenses on. It was, of course, dark, and of course they may not like sunlight. It hurts their eyes, but he didn't have the lenses on. I saw the pupils of his eyes, and I saw the whites of his eyes, and I could see. And I was afraid. I was on my elbow for a little while looking at him. I thought it was my daughter coming in our medicine cabinet getting medicine, and it wasn't her because I yelled out her name several times, and then I saw this shadow come around the bed. My wife liked having a dark bedroom. She covered the drapes and everything. But this thing stood there and was looking at me, and I looked at it for about, I guess, 3, 4, maybe 5 seconds. I had a lot of fear in me, and then all of a sudden I went peaceful. I just kind of went out. So I don't know. I guess that was an abduction, or what they did is they took samples. They must have taken semen or blood or DNA from me.
So, yeah, right. So let me ask you this, Dave. You ever notice in all these what you think abductions or what could be abductions, but you're not quite sure, you ever notice any patterns that lead up to that day? You know what I'm saying? Anything that you can correspond with that leads up to it?
There's several things that I noticed. Prior to a couple of them, I felt really tired, like I was being hit by some kind of energy. And what I found out, it's a magnetic energy. They start working on you. Aliens can be invisible, so they can be right in the room with you, and you don't even know it. So that's another thing we don't look at very much. But I just read an article here a while back that I guess it was an Oxford scientist said that aliens are invisible, and they can move in and out of your house or whatever. Now, I think that's true, and they only show up when they really want to let you know who they are and what's happening to you. Yeah, I get the tired feeling. Then I actually get messages. Actually, it tells me to go somewhere. That happened to me twice. Yeah,
wow.
It happened to me twice. I didn't want to go to Springfield to listen to my friend play music because I was tired, and it's a long drive. But I went anyway because something told me to go. So I experienced a UFO flying right over my car on Highway 55 heading south, and there was about 5 or 6 other cars around me, but it flew right over me. And it looked like a pie shape. It was pie, like at the bottom is all lit up, and there's a dark round center to it. And it must have only been about maybe 25, 30 feet in diameter, and it had the pie shape, like cutouts on the bottom. It was lit up. And I knew that wasn't one of ours. So that's when it told me to go. And then it told me to go to a movie. The movie I didn't even like. I didn't want to go see it, but something told me to go see that movie. Well, on my way back, I was on the highway, and this bright